Africa has 30% of the world's mineral resources: gold, diamonds, oil, copper, uranium. It has more natural wealth than almost any continent on Earth. And yet, nearly half of its population lives on less than $1.25 a day. How is that even possible? This is one of the biggest questions in the world, and the answer will surprise you. Here's what most people don't know. Africa's problem is not that it's poor in resources. Africa's problem is that its resources have been working against it for over 200 years. There are 3 reasons why, and each one builds on the last. Let's start with history. For most of the 1800s and early 1900s, almost all of Africa was controlled by European powers. Britain, France, Belgium, Portugal. These countries didn't build Africa, they extracted it. Colonial powers built railways across Africa, but not to connect African cities to each other. They built railways to connect mines directly to ports, so raw materials could be shipped to Europe as fast as possible. When African countries gained independence, starting in the 1950s and 60s, they inherited economies built entirely for extraction, not for growth. The roads led to the ports, not to each other. Now here's where it gets counterintuitive. Having too many natural resources can actually make a country poorer. Economists call this the resource curse. Here's how it works. When a country earns huge money from one resource, say oil or diamonds, its currency gets stronger. That makes everything else it tries to sell to the world more expensive. So farming, manufacturing, and other industries collapse. The whole economy becomes dependent on one resource. And when that resource price drops, the entire country falls with it. There's also the corruption problem. The African Union estimates that illicit financial flows cost Africa $88 billion every single year. Money lost to tax evasion, trade fraud, and corrupt officials sending public money into foreign bank accounts. To put that in perspective, $88 billion is more than all the foreign aid Africa receives in a year, combined. So the cycle looks like this. Resources attract corruption. Corruption weakens governments. Weak governments can't build schools, hospitals, or roads. Without infrastructure, businesses can't grow. Without businesses, people stay poor. And poor, desperate populations are easier to exploit, which brings more corruption. In the 1970s, many African countries had the same GDP as countries in Asia, countries that had just been through devastating wars. 30 years later, Asia had transformed into one of the fastest-growing regions on Earth. Africa had fallen further behind. The difference wasn't resources. Asia had far fewer. The difference was institutions, governments that invested in their own people instead of extracting from them. So why can't Africa become rich? Not because of its people, not because of a lack of wealth. Africa has more natural wealth than most of the world combined. It's because the systems built to extract that wealth, first by colonial powers, then by corrupt governments, were never replaced by systems designed to grow it. The richest continent on Earth, still waiting for a system that works for its people. If you found this interesting, subscribe to Geo Explainer. We break down the world, one question at a time.